I was 17 when I first typed those words into a search bar. It started the way most things started for me back then, out of boredom, out of a Tuesday night with nothing on television and a bowl of cereal going soggy on my desk. My older brother had left for college 2 weeks prior, and the house felt like a mouth that had forgotten how to close. I had his old laptop, his old room, and nothing resembling a plan for my life. What I had instead was a forum thread I'd stumbled across while looking for a way to fix a glitchy router. Someone had mentioned, almost in passing, that you could find open security cameras just by searching a specific phrase. Not hacking. Not breaking in. Just asking Google the right question. Inurl, view.shtml. I typed it in. Hit enter. And the internet handed me the world. The first camera I clicked was a parking garage in what looked like Eastern Europe. The timestamp in the corner read 2:14 a.m. and the image refreshed every few seconds in stuttering, grainy increments. 3 cars. A concrete pillar. A flickering fluorescent tube at the far end of the frame. Nothing was happening. Nothing would happen. But I sat there for 11 minutes watching it, and I cannot explain to you even now why I couldn't look away. It was like being handed a window into a room you were never supposed to see, not because the room contained anything forbidden, but because the room existed at all. I moved on. A lobby of an office building, somewhere. The chairs were that particular shade of institutional beige that exists in every country. A fish tank in the corner, filter bubbling, its light casting a pale blue smear across the tile floor. The clock on the wall read a time that didn't match mine, which meant it was daytime wherever this was, and somewhere on the other side of the planet a receptionist was going about her Tuesday, completely unaware that a teenager in a hoodie was watching the fish swim in slow, indifferent circles. I remember feeling something I didn't have a name for at the time. It wasn't excitement exactly, though there was some of that. It was closer to vertigo, that tilting sensation you get when a scale shifts unexpectedly. I had grown up being told the internet was dangerous, that strangers could see you, that you had to be careful what you shared. Nobody had thought to mention the other side of that equation. That the cameras were already everywhere, already pointed outward, already broadcasting to anyone who knew where to look. A loading dock in what I guessed was Australia based on the light, the sun at that angle, low and golden, the shadows long in a way that meant late afternoon in the southern hemisphere while I was shivering in November. 2 men in high-vis vests were moving pallets. One of them laughed at something. I couldn't hear anything, of course. No audio. Just the image, refreshing every 4 seconds, jerky and silent like a very slow film. I watched them for a while. Then I felt guilty, for reasons I couldn't articulate precisely, and I closed the tab. The guilt faded by Wednesday. Over the next month I became something of an amateur cartographer of the unseen world. I found a camera inside what appeared to be a restaurant kitchen in Italy. The cooks moved with that particular choreographic efficiency you only develop after years of the same motions, reaching for things before they needed them, pivoting without looking. I found a camera aimed at a bird feeder in someone's backyard, somewhere verdant and rainy, a place where sparrows came and went all day without caring who watched. I found a camera in a server room, racks of blinking lights, no people, just the slow and patient hum of machines doing their work. I found one pointed at a road. Just a road. A 2-lane highway cutting through flat land, occasional headlights in the dark. I went back to that one more than any other. There was something meditative about it. Cars appearing from the left, crossing the frame, disappearing to the right. Each one carrying someone somewhere. Each one a whole life condensed to a pair of lights moving through darkness. One evening in December my mother knocked on the door to ask why I was still awake at midnight. I said I was reading. She looked at the screen, a grainy shot of a snowy parking lot, a single lamppost, no cars, and she gave me the look that parents give when they've decided not to ask follow-up questions. I did eventually start asking questions of my own. The more I looked, the more I started thinking about the people on the other side of those lenses. The restaurant owner who'd installed a camera to watch his kitchen and never changed the default settings. The warehouse manager who'd bought a security system from a catalog and set it up on a Sunday afternoon and then never thought about it again. None of them had chosen to broadcast. They'd simply failed to close a door, and I'd walked in without a key. I wasn't doing anything with what I saw. I wasn't recording it, wasn't sharing it, wasn't using it for anything except the strange and private experience of watching. But the ethics of it started to nag at me the way a loose thread nags a euro. The more I thought about it, the more it unraveled. There was a moment, sometime in January, when I clicked on a camera and found myself looking at what was unmistakably someone's living room. A couch. A coffee table with a mug on it and an open book. A lamp. And a person, a woman, maybe 60, sitting in an armchair with her back mostly to the camera, watching television. The blue light from the screen moved across the walls in slow pulses. I closed the laptop. I didn't open it again that night. Later I would read articles about this, learn the term, Google dorking, learn about the researchers and journalists who had written extensively about default credentials and exposed infrastructure and what it meant that so much of our built environment was quietly broadcasting. I would learn that what I had been doing sat in a strange legal gray zone. The cameras were technically publicly accessible, the information not stolen but simply found. I would read about the debates around disclosure and responsibility, about the companies that made these cameras and the defaults they shipped with. But what stayed with me, longer than any of the technical vocabulary, was the woman in the armchair. She had no idea. She was just sitting in her home on a winter evening, reading and watching television, existing in the private way that people exist when they believe no one is watching. And somewhere in the space between her assumption and my screen there was a gap, small, accidental, the result of a default setting never changed, through which the outside world could see her. I thought about that gap for a long time. I still think about it now. Every camera I pass, every lens pointed at a parking lot or a lobby or a road, I think about the difference between a door that is locked and a door that is simply closed. About how much of the infrastructure around us operates on the assumption that obscurity is enough. About a teenager with a bowl of soggy cereal and too much time, typing a string of characters into a search bar and finding, instead of nothing, an accidental window into the lives of strangers. The road was still there, last time I checked. The headlights still crossing left to right, still disappearing into whatever waited on the other side of the frame. I left it running in a background tab for a while. Then I closed it, and I didn't go back.